Do you know what really tickles me about this kind of stuff when Manic Street preachers are being the pawns in the council's game? Is that your good old BBC likes to talk about political censorship in China. Oh, they like to endlessly talk about that, don't they, Crazy Dave? Yes, they do. But your BBC, see, Mr. Matt Thompson and everybody has all had stuff from the Crazy Dave files. Oh, yes, they have. They all know that Cardiff County Council is blocking my blog site because they've had emails about it. But they don't talk about that, do they? They talk about soldiers and the psychological damage done to them. But they don't talk about the psychological damage to fucked up people living in substandard housing. They don't talk about that. So you got to wonder about your BBC and its role as a public service broadcaster. And they probably run little things about, you know, this, that and the other. But they won't talk about Mr. Rodney Berman and his victimisation of tenants. And by the end of all of this, I hope the Cardiff County Council will be deemed an unfit social landlord. Because they ought to be. They ought to be hung, drawn and quartered, metaphorically speaking. So yeah, your BBC people, it lies to you. And if any of you get a chance to have a read of that one, you'll see that they're not interested in how Cardiff County Council is defrauding their general fund by 30-odd million a year. And if that was taken out of there, your community charge would be a little bit cheaper, because that wouldn't be taken off the bottom line. Not that your Lady Mayoress cares about that, or your Lord Mayor cares about that. Do you, Mrs. Val Griffiths? You aid and abet, Mrs. Val Griffiths, the criminal negligence of vulnerable adults in Cardiff. Sue me if I tell a lie, Mrs. Griffiths, because it's now July the 27th, 2009, Tuesday. I stood before you in January claiming criminal negligence. Did you ever follow up that claim, Mrs. Val Griffiths? Oh no. Left it to the lying Mrs. Woodman. We got a photo of you somewhere. So yeah, putting out bullshit satisfaction surveys that don't have a figure on them whatsoever of the number of respondents makes this totally worthless piece of paper. Some twit in the council spent God knows endless hours producing that piece of nothingness. Why were they paid to produce that when it is totally meaningless? Why? Shouldn't they be replaced or be made unemployed so there is a little bit less cost to the community charge payer for them wasting their time producing that? And I wonder how all the other citizens of the city feel about tenants being rewarded for attending meetings and whatever, so that they get points, so that their landlord will send some workmen around to keep their properties up to a reasonable standard. Are we all missing something here? They're the landlord, the council. Shouldn't they be responsible for maintaining the properties, especially when they're extorting such high rentals? If you're not a council tenant, would you like to be able to attend these meetings so that you could get points, so that you could have a council workman come around and spend an hour doing something useful in your home? I wonder if all those non-council tenants or citizens of the city would like to be able to go and attend meetings so that they could get some work. Some old ladies who can't get their houses painted, who haven't got the money to do it, but could turn up at these meetings and gain a few points so that they could have their properties maintained. Because I doubt if organisations like Age Concern will do that on their behalf. wake up people to the kind of leadership you have of your local councillors, how they use things like the Capital Times just to promote or make pretend how wonderful they are, but they will accept no contrary opinion to what they're doing, and their actions, Boroughenese, speak louder than their words.